Welcome to the Ministry of Information. Honorable Catherine Abelema Afeku is Minister of Tourism.
This is part of the mandate. Once a year, the sector minister avails himself or herself to meet the press, to brief the press, and to share activities undertaken within the sector. So I thank you for helping us deepen the governance system in our country. It is indeed an honor to be here, interacting with you as stakeholders, and together we will take stock of our activities in the last 11 and a half months. I look forward to briefing you on the humble strides my ministry and its agencies have made since His Excellency the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, nominated me for the position for Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. First of all, I wish to commend all my predecessors for what they have all achieved with the perennial and generally acknowledged ministerial shoestring budgets over the years. As most of you may know, the history is that the Ministry of Tourism has historically always been appendage to other ministries, such as Ministry of Trade and Industry and Ministry of Information. In 1993, it became a full-fledged ministry on its own, but it was realigned in 2013 as Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. And recently, in 2017, it was renamed through an executive instrument, E11 Civil Service Instrument 2017, by His Excellency the President as Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, this policy directive seeks to provide a firm, stable policy environment for effective mainstreaming of Ghanaian arts and culture into all aspects of national life. This will ensure a strong revival of a vibrant creative economy to improve and advance the tourism, arts and culture industry. Since we assumed office, as you are all aware, Ghana migrated from Valentine's Day celebration to National Chocolate Day in an effort to promote cocoa consumption. Our theme for last year was Love Chocolate, Love Adventure. And for the first time in Chocolate Day celebrations, we as an entity decided to give each and every person boarding, entering, embarking, arriving in Ghana for the first time or returning home, the world acclaimed brown chocolates of Ghana. My team and I were at the Kotoka International Airport for this exercise. The initiative was massively received, and we intend to repeat the same on the 14th of February 2018 under the theme Eat Ghana, Eat Chocolate. In the same month, I was invited among other African ministers of tourism to participate in the World Tourism Forum in Turkey. This trip and my participation in the forum, among other officers that I went with, have been a blessing to this dear nation of ours. It led to Ghana gaining the rights as the first African country south of the Sahara to host the first ever World Tourism Forum Africa Summit. Among the high-profile speakers at the Accra Forum was the Venerable Honorable Jack Straw, former UK Foreign Secretary, who was hosted to an evening of a thrilling Ghanaian performance and typical Ghanaian finger foods under the auspices of Madame Amy Frimpong at the National Theatre on the eve of the event. he highly commended Ghana and its hidden treasures, as he famously said. He has since become an avid advocate of the promotion of Ghana's tourism. March was a very dark and red letter month for us as a ministry. We had barely settled in the seat when Ghana experienced its first major horrific accident in the tourism sector. A heavy downpour uprooted trees at the Kintampo waterfall, resulting in fatalities. We visited the site with His Excellency the Vice President immediately, and in consultation, we ordered the facility shut down. The GTA, working closely with the Field Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, undertook a massive rehabilitation of the attraction, with the appropriate safety measures being put in place. His Excellency the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia on November 18, 2017, accompanied us to reopen the attraction after the massive rehabilitation. And as I speak with you today, immediately after this beautiful encounter, I have to travel to Kintampo to join the Committee of Tourism and Trade, who are already there to do their parliamentary duties to ascertain the level of work done by my ministry. Now, currently, after the reopening, GTA has signed a joint MOU between the Traditional Authority, the Municipal Assembly, and the GTA, representing the ministry, to ensure revenue is streamlined and transparency is part of the management. I'm happy to announce to you that within 5 weeks of reopening, the facility has already received 3,000 visitors. In the month of April, the Kwawu Easter Paragliding event was organized by Ghana Tourism Authority, one of the agencies under my ministry, recording one of the highest patronage in recent memory. In order that the organization of the event does not take an undue toll on the national budget, because we finance that from GTA, the ministry took the decision to set up Ghana Paragliding School to train local pilots. I'm happy to report that the training of Ghanaians, 11 of them so far, who will initially fly as solo pilots, has begun. Apart from heightening the interest among the local population, the eventual deployment of indigenous tandem pilots will reduce expenditure, as the major cost in organizing the paragliding festival has been the engagement of foreign pilots. As I speak, preliminary works on the establishment of a paragliding school to train more Ghanaians is in the offing, and in the coming weeks, we will duly inform you, the stakeholders. The use of local tandem pilots can also increase the frequency of the organization of the event, so it will not only be for Easter celebrations. We invite captains of industry, heads of institutions, and the business communities, both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaians, to adopt this form of adventure and leisure. Currently, the Odrianoma Mountain site in Kwawu Atibie is under construction by my ministry with direct supervision by GTA, and it will be reopened to the public in March, in time for this year's paragliding festival. In May, Ghana participated in the United Nations World Tourism Organization Executive Council meeting. Ghana is one of the 19 African countries with a seat at the Executive Council. It was my first since I came to office, but we made an impact, a humble one. We successfully negotiated for Ghana to be made the UNWTO Themis Regional Training Hub for West Africa. This training comes with its own benefits. In addition to advertising Ghana as a meetings, incentives, conference, and exhibition destination of choice, the first training workshop was organized in this country for 70 public and private sector participants from Ghana, the Gambia, Nigeria, Liberia, Togo, Cameroon, and Sierra Leone from the 12th to 17th of October. And the UNWTO gives the certificate of participation, which carries a lot of weight. In June, the China Outbound Travel and Tourism Market, which is a major travel and tourism fair in China to promote Africa as a destination, was held. Our participation bore unintended fruits. Besides direct marketing to the country as a destination for the over 1 billion people to visit Ghana, negotiations for Ghana to be featured on the global media market stage began at the Cotton Fair in China. And I'm speaking here about the Cable News Network. This was followed up in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, during the Commission of African Tourism Ministers, a mandatory meeting for Executive Council members, where the agreement between the ministry and CNN was inked and sealed. Effective October last year, alongside our local media promoting and projecting Ghana, a global media platform has started showing Ghana as a teaser campaign. And in the next few weeks, a crew of 14 from the Cable News Network will be here, and they will embed local media networks to travel across the length and breadth of Ghana to do the actual footage and documentary for the promotion of Ghana as a preferred destination in Africa. In July, Panafest Emancipation Day, in collaboration with the foundation, a major event on our calendar was organized in Accra, Cape Coast, and Asin Mansu. Activities started with wreath-laying ceremonies at the Du Bois Memorial Center for Pan-African Culture, George Padmore Library, and the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, culminating in the reverential night at the Cape Coast Castle. The ministry took advantage of this celebration to renovate Albert Halfway, Asin Mansu Slave River site by the GTDC. The renovation will still continue in time for the 2018 celebration. Tours within Ghana to familiarize myself and the directors of the ministry and its agencies with tourist attractions and sites, as well as cultural and artistic initiatives in the regions, were undertaken during that period. In June, the team toured the Western region, using the opportunity also to confer with stakeholders in the region. The Ghana Tourism Authority and their regional directors played a very significant role in facilitation of these regional tours. The tour also revealed to the ministry and the media the state of neglect of the grave of one of the founders of our dear nation, George Alfred Grant, popularly known as Pa Grant. The government was quick to respond as a result of our tours, and on August 8th, 2017, His Excellency the President performed the ceremony to unveil the rehabilitated grave of this illustrious son of the Gold Coast, who passed on to glory just a few months before Ghana gained independence. And permit me to add that it is in my constituency. In August, a Hospitality Excellence Breakfast Forum was held with the key industry stakeholders at the Movenpick Hotel in Accra. It brought together captains of the industry, and at the event, a service charter for excellence was launched by GTA. This meeting kickstarted a joint feasibility and stakeholder interaction held with the stakeholders in all the 10 regions, and the feasibility report is ready. In September, the team took a tour to Northern Region, and this tour was conducted on a branded domestic tourism bus with our See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana logos. The bus went through Eastern, Ashanti, and Brongahafo, and it provided an opportunity for us to pay courtesy calls on Ochihene Amwatia Oforipeni II at Kibi, and Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II in Kumasi. And it also afforded us the opportunity to lay our plans before them and to seek their advice and blessings. The climax of the Northern Tour was the unveiling of our first set of tourism ambassadors at a ceremony at Tamale to climax activities for the national celebration of the World Tourism Day, which is celebrated globally, and Ghana could not be left out. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to pause a little to elaborate briefly on the role of tourism ambassadors, as it is a topical issue. The ambassadors that have been carefully selected are to champion a tourism and culturally specific area of their interest, and to pursue a project reflecting that interest. I am happy to announce that so far, about 10 of them have submitted their project proposals covering tourism, arts, and culture in their communities and within the country for implementation to serve as incubators for the youth. On the same tour, the ministry commissioned the Gushegu Smoke Village in fulfillment of the President's One District, One Factory promise. We took the initiative because smoke is part of our cultural delivery and it's part of our Wear Ghana promotion. And this ceremony was performed by the Deputy Minister, who happens to be the Member of Parliament of Gushegu, in the splendid display of the Northern culture. The World Travel Forum, which we won the right to host during the Turkish meeting in February, did take place in Accra in October. It was at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City in Accra. And I can assure you that Ghana put its best foot forward touristically and culturally. The foreign delegates, including other African ministers of tourism, loved the Ghanaian cuisine we placed before them at lunchtime. It was purely Ghana on display. We actually set up the foyer of Kempinski as Makola, where we were roasting plantain, pounding fufu, and having our ice kinky sellers crisscrossing the dining area. It was truly a beautiful exhibition. In November, we facilitated a private sector company to secure a TV license through the NCA. And we are happy to announce to the stakeholders in this room that we are supporting the private sector to launch Tourism TV to project our culture and the creative arts. We're supporting them with the feasibility study, and we are forwarding their report to a consultant to help them acquire office location and to start work. And we will indulge you the date when we are yet to launch, to support us to project the culture, the arts, and the tourism destinations in Ghana on Tourism TV. In November, our statutory boards were inaugurated, November 21st to be specific, for 3 out of 5 agencies. The 2 remaining, which could not be constituted due to technical reasons, have now been resolved and are set to be inaugurated into office latest by the end of February. Advisory boards for all the other agencies, the 6 to be precise, under the ministry, which hitherto did not have any governing boards, were also inaugurated. We strongly convinced the stakeholders that we believe these governing bodies in place now will help see an upsurge in the performances of the agencies of the ministry, for they hold enormous potential and they will also bear fruits to contribute to GDP. The tail end of our first year in office saw the takeoff of the iconic, most illustrious project of the year, the Marine Drive Tourism Investment Project, December 15 to be precise. The project intends to develop the entire parcel of land covering an area of 214 acres, 3 kilometers, stretching from Osu Clote Lagoon behind the Christianborg Castle all the way to the Accra Community Center into a tourism enclave with modern facilities like hotels, malls, concert halls, restaurants, marina, boardwalks, among others. And it will interest you to note that this laudable project had been on the drawing board since 1960. It was first mooted by the first president of the Republic, the late Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Finally, in the first year of His Excellency's first year, the end of it, he cut the sword for this historic project And immediately, we also put in a special advisory board to work in tandem with the lead consultants, the technocrats, the developers. And the most significant part of this advisory board is that all the members of parliament in the catchment area, Osuklote, Ododio, La, are part of the advisory board because they are directly involved. The chiefs and people of the catchment area, we cannot say this without thanking them and saying we are grateful for their immense support for this project and seeing it take off. Now we get to the product development. What have we been working on and what do we intend to do? One of the most pivotal and exciting projects underway for our ministry is the establishment of a cocoa museum. Ghana and Ivory Coast are the two leading producers of cocoa in the world. A world-class cocoa museum is in the offing to be set up at Mampong, Ekwapim in the eastern region. It is to be a public-private sector initiative primarily to encourage local consumption of cocoa. Besides the Tetekwashi farm, which we will replicate, it will bring to life a typical Ghanaian cocoa farm. It will also take tourists through the processing of cocoa into a variety of products, including the powders, creams, beverages, and wines, and an exhibition center that will showcase the history, the tools, and the background of cocoa farming in Ghana, and a boutique for the retail of made in Ghana cocoa-based products and other souvenirs. But most importantly, it is to honor the memory of Tetekwashi. The drawings and feasibility reports are ready. We have copies here, and we are proud to announce that we are in talks with Cocoa Board, CPC, and specific private partners in the cocoa sector who have all pledged their support. We will use this forum, this platform, to appeal to other cocoa producing, marketing, and processing companies in Ghana to come on board with top-up investments. And I need to add here that GTA has been tasked to ensure that we commission the sword cutting ceremony on National Chocolate Day. Tourist Attractions Project. Using the Kintampo Memorandum of Understanding as a case study, the ministry has identified 33 sites across the country for some form of partnerships and upgrade and management of the tourist sites. To do this effectively, a legislative instrument on attraction has been approved by Cabinet on the 25th of January, and we have proceeded to send that to Parliament for its processing, for it to be a full-fledged legislative instrument, thereby giving the ministry and its agencies oversight responsibilities over tourist sites and attractions. Another project in the offing, Akwaaba Hotels. As you walk through the exhibitions, you saw that we had the prototype and the drawings. This is in answer to the request within the country and outside to provide affordable accommodation. In order to provide affordable accommodation for people who patronize our country's tourist attraction, we realized through our study that hotels, unfortunately, were too expensive in our country, and it was a deterrent for tourism. So we call these hotels that we have registered Akwaaba Hotels. We needed to have an indigenous chain, such as the Kempinskis, the Holiday Inns, and the Ibis, which is owned by other nations. So this one will be a legacy for His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, who have the GH Akwaaba Hotels, which can eventually go into the West African market as well. We already have private investors who have come, who have looked at the drawings and are studying locations, and we will show you some of the drawings in details during the Q&A. But what we have in mind specifically, the mission is to promote domestic tourism. So the average Ghanaian family can afford a weekend with his or her family in a hotel decorated, built, and Ghanaian owned. These hotels will be funded under a public-private partnership arrangement through which the government of Ghana, with its legal entity, the Ghana Tourism Development Company, will use the land as equity, while the private sector investor will provide the funds for the actual construction. We can assure you that when these hotels have been constructed and built, our tourism numbers will massively improve. Indeed, some of the investors have gone as far as specifying which regions they want the Akwaaba hotels to be built. They have gone far with GTDC in inking agreements, and also GTDC is working assiduously to ensure the allodial owners of the land are on board, so there will be no litigation. As you probably are aware, high cost of accommodation has been one of the major inhibiting factors for a successful development and promotion of domestic tourism. It is our view that with these hotels, that scourge of low patronage of tourist sites in Ghana will be a thing of the past. West Africa Integrated Travel Forum, and I'm going to put a lady who's in the forum on the spot. The NPP manifesto for election 2016 promised to position Ghana as a meeting, incentive, conference, and exhibition destination. We used our first year in office to lay the foundation. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our colleague from Nigeria, Madam Ola Wright. Please, if you rise. She is actually here to support and to put meat to the weight program. West Africa Integrated Travel Forum is an initiative that will be hosted here in Ghana between the 17th and 19th of March 2018. Ghana will host a West Africa Integrated Travel Forum, which is expected to host CEOs of all tourism authorities in West Africa. And the reason for this, it will provide a platform for tourism administrators to share common experience in the sub-region, and an attempt to find a common denominator for confronting these challenges and take advantage of mutual opportunities and come up with proposals on how to ease tourism flow between and among our respective countries. When we band together as a region, we improve our tourism revenue. Our friends in East Africa are doing that, and we intend to replicate. They have the multiple destination marketing, whereby inbound tourists from across the Atlantic will buy one tour package and they can visit all the East African countries, and they have seamless visa controls. So we want to initiate that come March. So we will, and Madam Ola is here to have a meeting with us to put the finishing touches on the WAIT program. And it is West Africa Integrated Travel Forum. The acronym is WAIT. We can't wait any longer. In addition, the Accra Tourist Information Center has been renovated and will soon be commissioned as a convention and visitor bureau, the MICE, and with the aim of focusing on attracting major events into Ghana, hence WAIT. In addition, the renovated and rehabilitated Attic has 3 major restaurants that we have built, and the sole purpose of this is to promote Eat Ghana. And also we have it, we will commission it when we do the WAIT forum, the first ever industry customer care call center, where tourists, locals will have a toll-free number to call us and ask, where is Boti Falls? How do I get there? How much does it cost? We have set up a customer call center to meet these questions and innocent information requests. And they are trained to speak with a voice and demeanor that attracts and retains tourists, our customers. Now, the one that is really the major, I would say, excitement in our ministry. Over the weekend, we were informed that the World Bank has approved 50 million, it's a grant, 50 million US dollars to support the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. And let me pause here to thank the Ministry of Finance to listen and to accept our persistent cajoling, begging, plead that the 4th Revenue earner in the country deserves a major boost. Under the Ghana Tourism, Arts and Culture Sector Improvement Project, the World Bank, with this 50 million grant, intends to support the ministry and its agencies to strengthen its institutions and stakeholders to improve sector productivity for job creation. Most importantly, to empower women and youth across all sectors along the creative arts and culture value chain, as well as to enhance overall domestic foreign tourist experience. From the time you disembark from the airport through the immigration to the time you join a taxi to get to your hotel, to visit a site, to return to your country, the result should be repeat experience. That visitor must return. And that value chain is what we are getting this support, among others, to ensure that they don't leave with a bad taste in their mouth. It is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of Ghana that our sector has been supported by the World Bank after the incessant intervention of our ministry and that of the finance. We intend to support reforms in the Ghana Tourism Strategy and Sector Development Implementation Roadmap. When the UNDP supported the ministry to do the sector development project, our creative arts sector was not included. We were not part of the ministry at that time. So this support will ensure that the creative sector is engulfed in the developmental plan of the ministry. We will focus on fostering intersectoral stakeholder linkages and efforts and coordination. The one that I love most, capacity building to create skilled workforce in the hospitality, tourism, and the creative arts sector. Facilitate beach sanitation and commercialization as a tourist attraction. Support micro and small scale enterprises within the sector for job creation, with a lot of emphasis on women and youth. Our iconic project in the offing that I love most, Center of the World project. Ghana is the center of the world. The ministry did not say it. It is where the Greenwich Meridian and the people of the United Kingdom and the world are saying. It was determined by the authorities and powers of this world at a meeting which took place almost a century before Ghana became a nation. Ghana is the center of the world. And as a ministry, in collaboration with Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, the Tema Golf Club, and the Tema Community One Presbyterian Church, under the auspices of GTDC, we intend to make and market this phenomenon to the world and within our nation. We know that religiously this is a seller. Already people are finding their way to the Presbyterian Church at Tema to pray at the center of the world. Our first president, Sajofo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, used to embark on pilgrimages to that part of Tema once a year for a spiritual retreat. We believe that with good marketing globally and locally, people could be attracted to have their weddings at the center of the world, set up businesses and advertise their good works which are manufactured locally at the center of the world. And we will link up, which we have already initiated. We were in the UK to have a very lengthy meeting with the Greenwich Meridian, and there is so much that we could benefit from this association. The Tema Golf Course could be accredited to host tournaments at the center of the world, including the likes of PGA tournaments. There is so much to be thankful for in this nation. We are the center of the world. We are therefore going to transform Tema Country Golf Club, with their consent of course, because we signed MOUs with them, into a first-class golf resort, the Presbyterian Church into a religious tourism site, develop a passenger and cruise ship terminal, which the GPHA has already acceded to, and within the port we will construct an iconic tower representing the center of the world. When you go to France, you see the Eiffel Tower. When you go to Germany, you have the Brandenburg. When you go to UK, Statue of Liberty. Ghana, already with my dynamic CEO of Ghana Tourist Development Company, has an investor who has offered to pay, it is public knowledge, I can share it, offered to pay for the feasibility study for this construction of the iconic center of the world. But I throw the challenge to our creative arts sector that we will open it up. We want to see the designs, we want to bring it up, and Krekumante and I are talking about it. It is not going to be a reality show, but it will be an open where people will actually bring designs of what should be the iconic center of the world look. When you go to Senegal, you see that effigy, and that is associated with Dakar, Ghana, under Mr. Kojo Odami Enchi, with the tacit support of his brother Akwesi Ajeman, under the leadership of Madam Afeku. We will make sure the best will be selected and the developers will listen to us. Now, the Muni Lagoon Ecotourism Project. The ministry, through GTA, has also secured investor interest in the redevelopment of the Muni Lagoon area in Winneba. We have the land documents as an ecotourism enclave. Again, feasibility has been done, stakeholder engagement is ongoing, and an MOU using the Kintampo model will soon be signed with the Wildlife Division of Forestry Commission to kickstart construction. Another area of interest that we have been working on assiduously, and it is as a result of engagement with the stakeholders, is highway rest stops. This nation does not have many to boast of, and when you're traveling, you see our people, both tourists and ourselves, stopping by the roadside and doing the needful, which is really an eyesore. So GTA has already embarked on the highway rest stops project. The first of such eco-friendly highway rest stops will commence soon at Gomwa Asin, between Apam Junction and Mankasim. Other areas that have been earmarked by the GTA, of course, with the approval of its board, is Agona Junction in Western Region, Asin Manson in Central Region, and between Kintampo and Tamale in the Brongahafo and the Northern Region. Now we give you the status of the GMMB, Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. The newly inaugurated board has set in motion an aggressive asset audit in all 10 regions, beginning with Greater Accra, and they just finished this Friday. And they had so much to share, but our space is not enough. In the coming weeks, we'll give them the opportunity to have their weekly updates in the medium that you so much share with us, the papers. The Osu Christianborg Castle, which was commissioned by His Excellency the President as a presidential museum, is getting some support from a Norwegian foundation because of the visit of the Queen of Denmark. The Keta Fort has also attracted German development support, and discussions are ongoing to seal it and ensure that it is rehabilitated. Now, this same initiative undertaken with the support of the director at the Museums and Monuments Board will transcend across the nation so that our forts and castles will be useful, attractive, and tourist friendly. Again, the model that is being used at Kintampo, where the monies are collected and the 3 parties that signed the MOU have their agents there, and it's logged in a bank on a daily basis. It will be used across the nation at all tourist sites where revenue is collected for transparency. The museums have a lot going on in Elimina, Cape Coast, Axim, Benin, and other sites that we do not and cannot see the revenue that is accruing. That will end with this dynamic board and their able director, Maminana Okra. National Theatre. On the eve of its 25th anniversary, we launched the e-ticketing system to streamline revenue generation in the arts and theatre sector. And they are one step ahead. They went technology. Madam Amy, kudos to you. It will be replicated using technology alongside all the tourist sites so that the ministry will know and see and have an oversight responsibility on the IGF that is accrued within the sector. It is all part and parcel of our oversight responsibility. And remember, Martin Amidu is coming. Industry training. Within the year, the ministry provided funding to Ghana Tourism Federation, GATOF, the private sector arm of our ministry, to start some industry training. Training of the informal sector was held in Accra and Cape Coast. Other regions will follow in this year. In September, the Hospitality, Tourism and Catering School began a joint project to rehabilitate, refurbish and restructure the institute. The young lady, Madam Jenny Adade, is working day and night, thank you, and pushing HOTCAT to be a viable hospitality training school. This entity will be commissioned, and I am told, she has reliably informed me, they're about 70% complete with their rehabilitation. So under the rejuvenated HOTCAT, which we hope to change the name soon, all the 10 satellite regional campuses will be established under the dynamism of our CEO of HOTCAT and with the direct supervision of its stakeholders, GTA, my good self. HOTCAT is also instituting a mobile training school, and they will have content on Tourism TV where you can have the chefs teaching you how to cook Ghanaian cuisine. Now, my favorite sector. We save the best for last. Creative arts sector. Given the mandate of the ministry, we usually do not wish to single out any one of the subsectors for emphasis. We believe that in promoting tourism, we promote the nation's arts and culture. The corollary is also true. We promote arts and culture to feed tourism. So it is an intertwined entity. In our scheme of things, therefore, each of the three subsectors carries equal weight in policies, planning, and activities. For example, while we may consider the See Ghana, Eat Ghana, and Wear Ghana initiative as a tourism program, even a cursory observation will show that the activities that are held to promote the concept are creative arts and culture-based. In Wear Ghana, we invite Ghanaians to promote and patronize local fabrics and fashion, whose practitioners are listed as domains in creative arts and culture. In Eat Ghana, we are promoting local cuisine, an area that lies in the domain of culture. When this campaign sinks into the national psyche, and we intend to continue aggressively, the end result will sustain the tourism, arts, and culture. Alongside the promotion, music is played. Imagine our promotion without music. Be that as it may, the ministry has made it a conscious policy to give arts and culture specifically a pride of place, because it's only 3 years old. 2013 it was born. Though the Creative Arts Bill is yet to be passed into law as an act, and we salute the predecessors and the stakeholders who worked on it to get the bill, we are pleased to announce that the Creative Arts Council Secretariat has been established with a fully furnished office at Attic with an interim executive headed by Mr. Okreku Mante, an industry person. This executive interim team have also put in place to oversee the affairs of the creative arts sector, to go out to conduct research, and as you are all aware, getting them funds was always a challenge, but they have not relented. They have put in place, and I'm reliably informed that on the 9th of February, after getting their office, getting a little budgetary support, they will hit the road. They have an onerous task to get the data of who indeed really is a stakeholder in the creative arts section. There are multiplicity of domains, including the beauticians, the sculptors, the artists, the dancers, the bead makers, a host of us that we need to get a directorate, a database, a real account of who is part and parcel of us. Theirs is also to go out there and sensitize stakeholders of the policies and programs within their domain. And the broad consultation is required for us to feed into the bill to have a rich and an all-involving, all-encompassing bill to promulgate that into an act. It is on the agenda of Parliament as we speak. The leader has ensured that one of his members of Parliament, being my humble self, my noise and my push, has made it to the calendar. So we are hoping that in the next 34 days, he will help us with the support of the creative arts sector to put this into the plenary. As I speak, research in the film under the director of the Guild is already ongoing. They have already brought back their field work from Volta region, and it's very comprehensive. I was actually impressed. And they're setting off to do Eastern region and Central region. But again, we will give them the opportunity to be part of the Q&A as to what they have done. And if they have left anybody out, we will encourage them to make it an all-encompassing research and data gathering exercise. And also, I want to encourage the leaders of the Interim Creative Arts Council to be accommodating and supportive. If anyone comes up to them, okay, cool, I know you have a big stomach, support the questions, support the inquiries, because people are anxious and they want to know what we are doing, and give them the opportunity to also add their input. When such data is gathered and when such information is really put in a document that is a bankable project, their budgetary support, for the first time in 2018 budget, there was a budget line item for the creative arts. Their budgetary support will be asked for. Remember, it is not with us, it's at the Ministry of Finance. It will be asked for and it will be given to them. So they will go on ahead and put in place what is needed to support their agenda. The ministry recognized very early in its first year that the perennial issue of creative arts and artists and practitioners living in penury while their intellectual property enriches others was not a situation we were going to encounter and entertain. In consultation with some of the stakeholders, the senior ones and some of the advisors within and who want to remain behind the scenes, we identified one of the causes as the challenge of the artists, the practitioners, monetizing creativity. Artists, be they film, music stars, producers, directors, felt strongly that their toils were not being properly compensated financially and were always reluctant to invest their talent any further. That is what partly accounts for the absence of quality material locally to compete with the telenovelas that we have all. And I know that Socrates is the champion of anti-foreign things on our TV. And I've told him, and he works very hard with us as the director of creative projects at the NCC, that we can only compete effectively because as a nation and as a government, we do not and we cannot legislate content. Then that will be veering into censorship. So we as a ministry, in support of the private sector initiative, we have, and I can proudly say that we have Tourism TV. One of the answers to overcome, I don't want to mention anybody's name, the proliferation of other content on other stations. You have a place now. That is one. We also need to acknowledge that to encourage production houses to create Ghanaian content must view soaps, video features and dramas. Media General, I'm not singling out anybody, but I've seen it. Media General has done something that deserves the applause. The series Sadia, which started airing on TV3 a few weeks ago, is one of the answers to drown the telenovelas because it's a competitive global village that we are in. The quality is good. I urge you to see it. It is well scripted with a tight plot and a creative cast in the hands of a very creative director who is local. And I'm telling them they will have to compete with Tourism TV because they're going to get all our artists to put their content on ours. We also want to recognize the efforts of a private sector, Xylophone, who are also into the business of putting money in the pockets of our artists. Their latest creation, Xylophone Cash, is also an attempt to monetize creativity through a system of uploading Ghanaian movies to run via social media and pay the creative people by the number of hits their work attract. This is a very normal international practice that has not been happening, and we commend the initiative. Over a period of time in our first year, we have also been in talks with a private sector operator who is in the business of placing Ghanaian content at the disposals of viewers throughout the world. And the artists are signed on to produce popular content, including already existing content that will run as a series in the name of the artist. And it's already showing on most of your mobile phones. This Sunday, today's Monday, this Sunday, I would like to invite most of you who will have the time on a Sunday to be at Accra Mall in partnership with this private sector person. We are launching Ejako TV. It's a mobile TV platform that will be premiering at Accra Mall in an effort to promote local content. Local content. On Sunday, barring any obstacle, another one in the offing for music is Daddy Lumba TV, a channel that will be ready next month. And I had asked Mr. Daddy Lumba to be here. I think he's somewhere out there. And you will be amazed with this technology. It's TV on the go. A lot of people are using it. You buy, it's a link with a mobile company. You buy your units, you turn it on, and automatically it creates revenue for the artist. And they sign an agreement that we are very much involved, ensuring that the artist is not taken undue advantage of. So we launched the first one for Ejako, and the next one will be Daddy, and we're doing it in phases. A lot of our artists will be transitioned onto this mobile TV, and it's already in Zambia. They're showing it in the UK, they're showing it in the US, and Nigeria will be next month. So imagine putting money in the pockets of our artists through technology. Like the other projects in both tourism, arts and culture, such initiatives cannot happen by the ministry alone. It is in tandem with private sector, and we use this platform to encourage other private sector stakeholders to come on board and to support the promulgation of our artists, their talent, their work. We have taken a year to bring some of these initiatives to fruition. So bear with us. The years ahead will be more exciting. And now that we have, for the first time, I see my friend Mr. Kunodake here, we have been given 16 million cedis in the budget as CAPEX. It's never happened in the history of our ministry. So we would encourage the entertainment writers to push the finance ministry. Allocation is different from release. So please do the editorials on allocation should equal release. We need our money so we can execute some of these exciting initiatives to put food on the table for some of us whose main talent is in our head. It is very, very interesting to see some of the young up-and-coming artists. Ladies and gentlemen, these are, in my humble opinion, some of the modest achievements that the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, with its supporting cast, the staff, its agencies, under the trying circumstances in the last 11 months, we've been in office for 11 months, have done. We have not realized all of our dreams. Some of them may sound crazy to you, because we want to do cable cars, we want to do this, but we believe strongly that together as a team, we can and we should Nothing is impossible. So we will encourage each and every one of you to speak positively about our sector, but also make sure we have space for constructive criticism. We should not shun away from listening to dissenting views. It is very important so we know what is going awry, what can be done properly. It is impossible to do everything in 11 months, but we have a few months and a few years, by the grace of God, ahead of us, and with the mandate that you, through you, have given us, with your support. We believe, however, that we have laid the foundation for a total fulfillment of most of the pledges set out in the manifesto of the NPP in 2016 for our sector. For a take-home, please, I'd like to, and this is off the script, so it will be one sentence. I'd like to bring my own initiative. You know, the directors and the speech writers, they limit you. I would like to institute a monthly dialogue with the entertainment industry. A monthly dialogue. We have oversight responsibility over all the hotels, the eateries, the sites. So we should be able to ask Kempinski to give us a monthly evening so we can sit and talk. It doesn't have to be this formal, in a relaxed atmosphere. So we eat Ghana, we wear Ghana, and we deliberate Ghana. So if I have the support of my chief director, who will have to fund and finance that initiative, I'd like to share with this august group that we will constitute a 5-member panel, and I'm already looking at those who will be part of it. Mr. Kuno Dake, Enimi Lashon, Mr. Franka Piaget, and I'll leave the 3 of you big gentlemen to find 2 women, because I'm a gender advocate, to ensure that this group will facilitate our monthly dialogue on arts, culture, tourism, but in a relaxed atmosphere. So we talk, and you use that opportunity also to share what is happening in the industry. E-dialogues monthly. For a take-home, please remember, it's our first year. There is more to come where these thoughts and ideas are coming from, but with God and on our side, and with your support, a dedicated and highly motivated staff with trying circumstances and atmosphere, we hope and believe that we shall succeed. Let me assure you that we are aware that many of you have terrific ideas about how our sector can succeed. We welcome them. We want to share, hence my initiative to have the e-dialogues. I'm not talking about only here at the Meet the Press, but also later on. My number is available. My team are available. We are accessible. Those who could not make it here, who are listening to us, are encouraged to share their ideas, since we are here to serve you. We also have our doors open, and we shall continue to keep them open to execute the vision of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And together we will say, God bless you all, and God bless Ghana. Thank you. Thank you.